This weekend, we find ourselves at the Bristol Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Cup Series for the Food City 500. NASCAR has ditched the dirt race at Bristol for the spring and has given it 2 concrete dates. We're going to be looking at who I think has the opportunity to win, as well as at the end of the video, looking at a parlay that I like. The first driver that I am picking to win at Bristol this weekend is the number 9 of Chase Elliott. Now I know what you might be thinking. Chase Elliott hasn't won since 2022, and he doesn't have a win at Bristol in a points-paying race. He did win the All-Star race there in 2020, but Elliott's last 2 races at Bristol with the next-gen car on the concrete was 2nd and 7th. Elliott has 2 top 10s in this span, and I think he's going to be a real threat on Sunday to maybe having the potential to get his first win since 2022 and get back on track and punch his ticket for the playoffs. The next driver that I'm keeping my eye on to possibly win at Bristol this weekend is the 17 of Chris Buescher. Now Chris Buescher finished 2nd last week to Christopher Bell, so he's had a strong run last week, looking for some more momentum to build off of. But Chris Buescher also has a win on the concrete at Bristol in the next-gen car. This happened in 2022 where he started 20th and finished 1st. He led 169 laps and had a dominating performance. Last year, he finished 4th, but he started 20th yet again. So once again, if he has the opportunity to pick his way through the field, he is going to be a serious threat. I expect Chris Buescher to be up there leading some laps and getting RFK into victory lane in 2024. Definitely watch out for the number 17. Following Chris Buescher, we have his teammate Brad Keselowski. Now in 2022, Brad Keselowski had a dominant car himself, but unfortunately had a flat tire and had to pit and ended up finishing a lap down. He led 109 laps in that race and won the first stage. So he was the dominant car and was going to probably win that race if that bad luck didn't happen and then Chris Buescher goes on to win. Last year he finished 8th after starting 6th, and in stage 1 he finished 7th. So he seemed to be running well up towards the front of the pack in all the Bristol races with the next-gen car. On top of that, he has 3 wins at Bristol, although the recent one came in 2020, and then the latest ones were 2011 and 2012, so you can't really use that when comparing the next-gen car. But really, Brad Keselowski is a strong pick for Bristol, and I expect, hopefully he can get that 6 car back into victory lane, and it'll be a cool moment, and this could be the track for him. It was dominant the past 2 years, why not win it now? He beats your favorite driver. Yes, that's right, I'm picking Denny Hamlin as one of my guys to watch this week with the possibility to win this race. Last year, Denny Hamlin started 2nd, finished 1st, led 142 laps, had the most dominant car, had to go to the back of the pack, drove his way back to the field, ends up winning the race. In 2022, he finished 9th after starting 4th. So Denny Hamlin is a threat to be reckoned with, and on top of that, he also has a couple wins at Bristol. In 2012 he has a win, and in 2019. Again, those are old packages, those are old cars, but Denny Hamlin still knows how to win at Bristol, and he knows how to win with the next-gen car. The most recent winner on the concrete, I think he can go back-to-back, and it would be pretty funny if he pulled that line out again. And the final driver that I'm considering to win, that I'm strongly on before I get to my sleeper picks, is Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson finished 2nd last year after starting 36, drove his way through the entire field, finished stage 1 in 8th, finished stage 2 in 3rd, led 20 laps. The year before in 2022, he started 5th, he finished 5th. Once again, both stages finished inside the top 10. He has a win in 2021 at Bristol. Again, it's the old car, so can't really compare it with the next gen, but having those 2 top 5 finishes in the last 2 races, I think Kyle Larson is due for a Bristol win yet again, and this is a type of race where he can really stink up. I think this is going to be maybe another North Wilkesboro where it's a throwback race, because this is a throwback kind of race where they have the walls repainted and stuff. So I think Kyle Larson will probably stink up the show, and if he does win, it might be in a dominant fashion. So the first driver that I have as a sleeper shouldn't even be considered a sleeper. He's had very poor performance this year, and in the past 2 next-gen races at Bristol, he's finished 34th and 20th. But he has 8 wins at Bristol, the most among active drivers, and that is the 8 of Kyle Busch. How can you not consider Kyle Busch when you come to Bristol? Yes, the past 2 next-gen races have been abysmal for him, but I think Kyle Busch might be able to find some luck and maybe get a car that's dominant enough, or if he can luck into a late race caution that maybe flips strategy, I would watch out for Kyle Busch. I just get a feeling that he can possibly win this race. So the next sleeper that I have is Ty Gibbs, and Ty Gibbs really shouldn't be considered a sleeper as well, as he's one of the top cars at Joe Gibbs Racing, but he's young and he still doesn't have a Cup Series win. In 2022, he started 25th and finished 35th, but that was driving for 2311 Racing, and that was just like an early bump up for him, and he didn't really have a lot to practice with and stuff like that. In his first full season, he started 8th, and he finished 5th at Bristol. He led 102 laps and finished in the top 10 in both stages. So if we're going to base it off the 2023 race, I would definitely watch out for Ty Gibbs. Very well could get that car back in a victory lane. In theory, it's Kyle Busch's old 18, even though it's the 54 now, but really that would be something. Kyle Busch very dominant with the 18 at Bristol, and then Ty Gibbs wins his first career win in the same car, basically, at Bristol. That would be something, so watch out for Ty Gibbs. My final sleeper pick that I'm looking at is Michael McDowell. Now, Michael McDowell in 2022 finished 11th, and in 2023 last year, he finished 6th. He started that race 4th, and for most of the race, he stayed in the top 10. Definitely had a shot to win if stuff went his way late in the race, but unfortunately it didn't. Now, Michael McDowell and Front Row Motorsports, and Todd Gilliland, I should include, but Gilliland isn't my pick, it is Michael McDowell, have jumped Stewart-Haas Racing in the Ford Totem Pole for more resources and stuff like that. Both him and his teammate Todd Gilliland have led a lot of laps. Granted, it was at tracks like the super speedways like Atlanta and Daytona, but even at Phoenix, we saw some flashes of McDowell up in the top 10 and even falling back to maybe like low, not as low as like 20th. Like really, he was like up in like the top 15 average for most of the race at a short track. So I expect Michael McDowell to be up there. Even if he doesn't win, I expect maybe a top 12, but definitely keep your eye on Michael McDowell. So now we look at a parlay that I really like, and this is a 6-leg parlay provided by Caesar Sportsbook. No, I'm not sponsored by them, but they do offer some of the best bets for NASCAR betting. And in this bet, I have Chase Elliott over Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski over Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell over Alex Bowman, AJ Allmendinger over John Hunter Nemechek, Chris Buescher over Tyler Reddick, and Denny Hamlin over Christopher Bell. Most of the drivers that I picked them because I picked them to win, so I expect them to be up towards the front of the pack versus some of these guys that I don't really consider to be guys that are a threat. Now, I will say the Brad Keselowski versus Ty Gibbs pick had me up in the air because I did say Ty Gibbs has the opportunity, but I think Brad Keselowski is more due for a better run, and I think he has a better shot to win versus Ty Gibbs. I expect both of them to run in the top 10, but hopefully Brad Keselowski can beat him out. Now again, you don't have to include all these legs, but these are the legs I like, and if you were to do it, it would pay 10, would pay for $360, so not a bad payday. So let me know what you guys think. So those are all my picks. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is going to win at Bristol this weekend? I think it's going to be a great race. Although people are bummed that we won't have the dirt back, I think the concrete is going to put on a good show. So let me know who you think is going to win down in the comments. I thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.